What's up, y'all? It's your boy Brainwavezz. This is an update to the Shanquella Robinson situation, the case, whatever you want to call it, the tragedy, all the above. Nonetheless, this is courtesy of Culture Spill. I have Culture Spill's YouTube channel linked here in the description box, so feel free to go see their original video, but I've included it here. She basically said it all. There is nothing else to really add. If you haven't already looked, I did a channel message regarding what she personally wanted to say after her crossing over. So I will try to actually card that at the end of the video here. So please take a look at that if you haven't done so already. But nonetheless, this says it all. I tell you, her spirit will not rest until this situation is completely resolved and her so-called friends are actually handled. We'll just call it that, okay? Justice will be served. I don't want to go into any other details. So without further ado, let me sit back and let you all watch the video and let me know what you think in the comment section.
Did Shanquella's friends really lure her to Cabo with the intention to hurt her and plan her death?
When they got back from the trip with her luggage, what did they tell you happened to your daughter?
That she got sick from drinking. It was alcohol.
Even though it has been weeks since Shanquella Robinson has passed away, the entire internet is still angry and demanding answers. And just when we thought there was no way that this case could get any worse, the authorities have released some new details and evidence that suggest her death was not an accident and was in fact planned by her own friends. But why did they hate Shanquella that much? Why did they really do it? And what is the FBI saying about this tragedy? Shanquella Robinson's death has thrown the entire community into confusion in the weeks following the incident. For those who haven't been following the story, we're gonna give you a quick breakdown of the case before we get into the latest details. Shanquella went with 6 friends to Cabo, Mexico for a birthday trip for one of their friends. They left from North Carolina and Shanquella was in perfect health when she left. The friends she left with were Malik Dyer, Winter Donovan, Elise Hyatt, Dejanay Jackson, her best friend Khalil Cook, and Nazir Wiggins. But Nazir has come forward to claim that he arrived in Cabo a day after the rest of the group and that he wasn't there when the events occurred that led to her death. According to Shanquella's mother, Khalil called her the day after they landed in Cabo to tell her that Shanquella had drunk too much and had alcohol poisoning, so she wasn't feeling too well. He later called back to tell her that medical staff were in their room and were trying to resuscitate Shanquella. And when she passed away, he then told her that the resuscitation attempts had not been successful. Khalil and the rest of the group decided to cut their holiday trip short and return home to North Carolina. And the most bizarre thing is that they left Shanquella's body in Mexico, but they took her luggage with them and Khalil dropped it off at her parents' house. In a recent interview, her mother revealed that Khalil had continued to lie to her when he dropped off her luggage, still claiming that she died from alcohol poisoning.
When they got back from the trip with her luggage, what did they tell you happened to your daughter?
That she got sick from drinking. It was alcohol.
Now, Khalil used to hang out with her family a lot, so the family knew and trusted him. Even when he got back from Cabo, he would come around the family a lot. But all this changed when the autopsy result came out.
When was the last time you heard from him?
I haven't heard from him since the autopsy came back. And that's been about 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago when the autopsy first came back. And I haven't heard from him since.
Before we get to the autopsy and how it exposed Khalil and the rest of the friend group, we need to talk about a police report that claimed that her friends had told medical staff that she had drunk lots of alcohol and that she was found dehydrated.
Police report from the day she died says guests at the resort called for medical help, claiming she had drunk a lot of alcohol. A doctor said she was, quote, stable but dehydrated, adding that the guests refused to bring her to a hospital. The police report said she went into cardiac arrest and was declared dead at 6 p.m.
According to this, her friends had refused to take medical advice to take her to the hospital, and this should have raised red flags with the medics that were attending to that situation. But from what we know now, her friends probably lied to the medics about the alcohol poisoning, and the medics didn't probe further. In fact, before her autopsy results came out, the Mexican authorities treated it as an accidental death and didn't investigate further. But then the autopsy contradicted everything about the police report, down to her time of death. According to the police report, she passed away around 6 p.m., but her autopsy refutes this because it lists her time of death as 3 p.m. Now, it's normal to have some time lapse in determining the time of death, but a 3-hour difference is just too much, and it suggests that the police report might not be completely correct. Also, the autopsy listed her cause of death as severe spinal cord injury and atlantoaxial subluxation, which is a condition where unstable or excessive movement is present in the first 2 vertebrae of the neck, and it suggested that Shanquella had been the victim of physical attack. Interestingly, the autopsy made no mention of alcohol in her system, and people have pointed out that if she indeed taken enough alcohol to get alcohol poisoning, then it should have shown up on the autopsy. This further proved that her friends were lying and were trying to cover up. This was confirmed when a video leaked online that showed Shanquella getting hit by one of her friends, Dejanay Jackson. In the video, Dejanay was hitting her repeatedly, even though Shanquella wasn't fighting back. To make things worse, the other people in the group were sitting back, watching without attempting to intervene or even asking Dejanay to stop. Khalil could also be heard saying, "Quella, can you at least fight back?" So from what we know, the autopsy result shows that she could have easily gotten injured in the fight, especially since it was reported that Winter Donovan also hit Shanquella and even slammed her into a wall. Well, as a result of public outcry and indignation, as well as Shanquella's parents' determination to get answers and justice for her, Mexican authorities reopened the investigation into her death, and the FBI also got involved in the investigation. The Mexican police overturned the previous ruling of non-suspicious death and have now ruled it as a femicide. For those who don't know what femicide is, it is simply the of a woman based on her gender. The Mexican authorities believe that Shanquella was in part because of her gender, and this is why they ruled it as a femicide. And if convicted, a person could face up to 60 years in prison. This ruling is one reason that it is believed that Shanquella's death was planned, and most probably before they even left North Carolina at all. People pointed out the fact that her friends watching her get beaten up without saying anything is a clear indicator that this could have been a gang up between them. Things got even more suspicious when another video from the trip leaked online, and it shows that the group was clearly planning something without Shanquella's knowledge or involvement.
Hi, what? They, what Go said, they crew.
This sent off a lot of red flags for a lot of people, because the group was clearly trying to make sure that Shanquella couldn't find them, and they didn't want her to hear what they had been talking about. Also, people pointed out that it was shady that they left Mexico so soon after her death. It is believed that the trip could have been an excuse to hurt her in another country, then hurry back to the United States to avoid facing justice in another country. The fact that they left so quickly and left her body in Mexico after only a few hours fueled public opinion that the friends know more than they are saying. People have called out the entire friend group for allegedly planning the entire thing, saying things like, "So all of these people involved in Shanquella Robinson's murder need to be arrested and put away for life. If that doesn't happen, not going to be good. It was a planned attack. People have lost all of their morals." And the more I think about the Shanquella Robinson assaults, the angrier I get. They planned this entire thing. They intentionally planned the trip to Mexico to kill her. They intentionally caught her at her most vulnerable, and they intentionally recorded it to embarrass her, premeditated. And now, in recent development, The authorities have seemingly confirmed that her death was premeditated. In fact, Mexican authorities have confirmed that they have issued an arrest warrant for one of her friends who they believe was the main aggressor. They released a statement saying, "This case is fully clarified. We even have a court order. There's an arrest warrant issued for the crime of femicide to the detriment of the victim and against an alleged perpetrator, a friend of hers who is the direct aggressor. Actually, it wasn't a quarrel, but instead a direct aggression. We are carrying out all the pertinent procedures such as the Interpol alert and the request for extradition to the United States of America. It's about two Americans, the victim and the culprit." While they didn't confirm who it was that the warrant was issued against, it is widely believed that the warrant was issued against Dejanay because of the video that went viral. While this news has brought a sense of justice to people, it appears that the extradition might not take place because, according to an expert, the probability of her being extradited to Mexico is 50-50.
If the U.S. authorities and potentially U.S. court are not convinced that the Mexicans have a very strong case, then it's very unlikely that she would be extradited.
So unless the Mexican authorities have built a very strong case, there is a chance that the extradition will not take place. But this doesn't mean that the group is in the clear, because the FBI investigation could still result in them facing charges. The FBI released a statement saying, "The FBI's Charlotte field office has opened an investigation in the death of Charlotte resident Shanquella Robinson in Cabo San Lucas, Mexico, on or about October 29, 2022. Due to the ongoing investigation, we have no further comment. This is an ongoing case, and we'll keep you updated with new developments."